The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual guests. If you're a sensitive snowflake that may get easily offended, then turn this off immediately. If you want to hear the real truth about the gun culture, then stick around. This is the Armed Citizen Podcast. What is going on, my Ghost Squad? Welcome to the Armed Citizen Podcast live. This is episode 140. We are live, as always, on YouTube, and we'll take this and go. Okay. Got that from Clover. Sorry about that. But we will take this and put it on replay, obviously. We'll take the audio and we'll put it on all your favorite podcasting, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple, Google, Stitcher, all of them. And there's probably 20 of them that we're going to put on there. But if you're listening in replay, thank you so much. If you're watching replay, thank you very much. If you're live with us, then welcome to the dark side. We like to have a good time, but we don't promise that we're going to educate you. We're not going to promise that we're going to make you any smarter, but we are going to promise that we're going to do our best. So if you're out there, we do have a lot of new subscribers and new listeners out there making your way to the show. If this is your first one, say hello in the chat. We don't know if you're out there unless you say hello out there. And if you're new, especially, let us know where you're from and we will give you a little quick shout out. If you guys want to ask questions throughout the podcast, then go ahead and tag myself or anyone else on the panel. We'll try to get there. If you don't tag us, I'm not going to promise that we're going to see it. It is what it is. You can also, as always, call or text into the Ghost Tactical Hotline presented by the gun cleaners out there. Rod and Shelly Gates I think they're out there in the chat as well. So go check out our good friends, the gun cleaners. Wonderful lube and solvent and all that for your cleaning your firearms. Phenomenal. They're friends of ours. We know them personally. They're not robots. They're human beings, and they put great products out there as well. So get this off of my screen and bring in the other two yahoos that are with me, and we're going to run through the chat out there and say hello. But before we do that, let's say hello to the panelists that we have right now. And from Mining Ridge Armory, and he's also a contributor and friends of ours for gearreport.com. We got Toby. What's going on, Toby?
Not much, man. Living a dream. Appreciate the invite and glad to be hanging out with you guys.
That's right. And I don't know if he said he might be having to jump off occasionally, but I don't know if he's there. If he is there, we'll say you are okay. So
I'm here, bro.
We've got our good friend, the Tactical Virus. Leprechaun himself. What's up, Clover?
Another day in paradise, man.
Well, is paradise good or bad? It sounds like you're worn out.
Well, between all the drama yesterday and then, so far today. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good though. Yeah, no, it's all good.
All right. Well, let's kind of run through the room real quick and say hello to everybody that's out there in the chat. Before we get going, I wish I could have saved it. It's already gone, but we do want to send a shout out to Mandatory Carry. Before the show started, he got called into work, but he wanted to send a $5 super chat to us. So thank you, brother, very much. And he had to get called into work on his only day off of the week. He got called in, so not so sure he was a happy camper or not, but it is what it is. But out there, we've got Nighthogs out there, Grandpa. We got Buck out there, gun-loving Grandpa, Mystic Guns, G23, Kingpin, Gizzard, Gary. Got Lance out there, Get Off the X. Let's see here, 223, DMR's out there. I think I said Gary, if not. Gizzard Gary's out there. Calaveras 32 Specials out there. Let's see here. Jason Stewart's out there. Rich White, the 1% is out there. What's up, Rich? Let's see here. I think I said Nighthawk. Defense Dad is out there. It says evening. Andrew Faulkner. What up, Andrew? Let's go through, trying to catch up through here. Budget Guns and Gear. I sent him a link, but he had sent me a text that said he's at work. So apparently he is listening or watching at work. We hope we don't get you in trouble, but what's going on, Mike? Go check out Mike doing some good stuff. Scroll down. AWAG's out there. It says howdy. Weston's out there. Weston Probst. What's up, Wes? Like I said, Rod Shelley Gates, the gun cleaners are out there. What's up, home diggities? You got Pancake Boy out there, Midnight Range TM. Got WB. So how's it going? It is going. It is going. And Rob's out there, Newark Outcast. What's up, Rob? JMA's out there, Semper Fidelis, brother. Hope you're doing well. I'm not Will Rogers is out there. He's saying I gave 2 thumbs up. So we're going into rare air at this point. Not Will Rogers says 2 thumbs up. So that's great stuff. Let's see here. JJ's out there. Goodness gracious. Gunpowder Beauty's out there. What's up, Jess? Talked to her yesterday or the day before. I can't remember, on some stuff. And she's in the new zip code at this point, waiting for Troy to get down there. But I'm sure that will be fun when they get down to the new zip code altogether. Warsaw Patriot. What's up, Warsaw? Carolina EDC's out there. So there's a lot of people. Got 36 out there. And so like I said, if you're out there, and especially if you're new, say hello in the chat. Let us know where you are. Joe Ziola just joined us. If you've got a question, tag myself or Toby or Clover, whoever jumps into the chat, and we'll be able to see those. If I don't see a tag, the chat kind of runs a little fast sometimes. I don't catch them sometimes. So you can always text them to the number below. And if you want to call in, you can call in. So JMA says Denver, Colorado. So there you go. So one of the things that we're going to talk about, the first topic we're going to talk about tonight, Clover and Toby, is kind of why seemingly gun owners have to be a different breed, or why we're perceived as being a different breed by the rest of society. And I know that there's a lot of stuff going on with things in the news about a shooting. Was it justified? Was it not? Was it racially? There's all this stuff. I don't want to touch on that, but I do want to touch on the fact that once again, gun owners are kind of looked at as weird, kind of paranoid, tin hat wearing people that are looking to overthrow the government. And I think that for the new gunners out there, I think that, people are trying to decide at this point, do I really want to get involved with the community, or do I just want to have a gun in the nightstand? And I really don't know, because I hear all these things. And let's just be frank. Are there people in our community that are maybe a little more paranoid than others that are looking? Yes. The answer is yes, there are. But I don't think that makes up the vast majority of who we are. We're just normal, everyday people that have normal jobs, have friends, go to ball games with you, coach little league, and we just happen to not only have guns, but we choose to carry them every day or whatever. But I think there is still that big misconception as to who we are. I want to bring Toby in real quick and ask you, with your training, do you get new gun owners in? Do they have preconceived notions of who we are when they're first coming in?
So, well, no, I get the full spectrum. So since I'm in North Carolina and you're kind of in the South, it's according to where my class is coming from. So if they're coming from some of the more rural, traditional areas, or the suburban areas, then not really. I mean, you'll get a lot of misconceptions, and you'll get a lot of false thoughts and lies, or tall tales that have been told to them, fish tales that have been told to them. But you won't get a lot of people who just have that oh my goodness, you're a different breed of people mentality, simply because they're marinated in it, just with everywhere around them. But when you get more of the urban areas, the city centers, like, around Raleigh, Charlotte, Mecklenburg County, some of those, yeah, absolutely. You do get some of those people who have, you have some very interesting perceptions. Just to give you one example, I was looking to get, for when I do competition shooting, I was looking to get an old crappy, push stroller, one of those big wheeled running strollers, jogging strollers. And, I was going to mount 2 rifle mounts on the side of it, use it as a range, little range go-kart or golf cart or whatever. And, I was asking around to try to get a cheap one and a free one. Well, most everybody else was like, oh yeah, that's a cool idea. That's a cool idea. But I ran into this one guy who his wife had one that she had, and they were very much city dwellers. They had moved from, up north of Pennsylvania or whatever. And when his wife found out what I was wanting it for, oh my God, it was just this whole freak out thing, and had to, oh, it's for a gun and that's a baby stroller, so it ended up, I trolled that one all the way, made it all the way. But long story short, the point is it's according to where they're at in the state as to what type of response I'm getting from them, and if I get that reaction.
Yeah. Couple people just joined in. We got Magic Mike's out there. What up? Go check out Mike over at M-W Tactical. Mike used to be on the show a lot. He's doing a really good work over there on the competitive shooting. He's been chasing that dream of being an A-class shooter and all that. And so, yeah. And Jason Stewart, $10 super chat. Thank you, buddy. Says, thanks for the entertainment and education. Man, I don't know about the education. I don't know if the education side of the thing, but I appreciate it. But the entertainment, we do try to entertain a little bit. And we do try to educate as we go. Let's see here. Someone else jumped in. Mr. F&H jumped in. And I saw someone else jump in. Oh, Darcy's jumped in. So what's up, Darcy? So I want to bring Clover in, and you've been working with 4-H and with kids and all of that, and being in Texas, I would imagine you don't get a lot of it, but when kids come to 4-H and they learn to shoot, from the parent side of things, are they usually involved with shooting already, or do they? Some of the parents not involved at all, and they kind of wonder what the gun life is about, or what's that side like with it? 4-H, the kids stuff.
It's kind of a split, honestly.
Okay.
I mean, we would do outreach, and we would try to do outreach, probably more so for the kids that their parents are not involved in it, because around here, I mean, mom and dad have land, grandpa and grandma have land, so if the parents are into it, then usually the kids are exposed, and then so they're not necessarily looking for 4-H. They can do things on their own land, on their own time and stuff like that, unless they're looking to compete or something like that. And you get that sometimes, but just the education and experience side of things, you get more of the ones that their parents are not into it. And for us, archery is the gateway. I mean, you get far more that come in through the archery side, and then they're exposed to the firearm side, because they came into that. And then you get that question of, well, how old does my kid have to be to shoot a pistol? And it's like, they're already old enough. There's no distinction in 4-H. If you're old enough to join 4-H shooting sports, you're old enough to shoot whatever you want to shoot, basically. And so you got to have that conversation about, the way the safety rules are. They're the same as archery, and the ratio of coaches to shooters are the same as archery, and all of this other stuff, and make them feel better. To your opening statement, I kind of wanted to address that a second, because you said, man, I forget now. It's been so long that why. But it's like, why do they look at gun owners differently or whatever, or why gun owners seem different or whatever? And I think that it's not exclusive to gun owners. And I think that if you look at any subject or any topic, the media, whether it's covering a tornado or the gay pride rally, the government picks the media, not the government. The media picks the most flamboyant, crazy, out of touch people that they stick up as a poster child for said group. I mean, the abortion debate, you've got doctors selling body parts, and you've got people burning down abortion clinics, right? Those are the ones that get the publicity. It's no matter what we're talking about, it's one extreme or the other. And with firearms, it's either the crazy boogaloo boys, or it's, the socialist, communist, anti-gunner. It's like they don't concentrate on what we know is that 80 some odd % of people in the middle.
No, 100%. And there's a lot of people out there talking about the media, and that is true. Snob, how you doing, man?
What's up?
But yeah, the media is obviously, and we talk about this, we laugh about that here in Arkansas, is if Arkansas, for whatever reason, something in Arkansas happens, it's going to make national news. Do they go and get the normal looking guy, or do they go get the 400-pound hillbilly with one tooth? And sorry, Snob, my bad. No, but they go get that guy that the photo tree goes straight up, and that's who they put on camera. And you're right, Clover. No matter what group it is, that's what they do. They're going to go find the most, I don't know, agitative person is going to create drama to sell that story. And Misha's out there. Misha said that first told his mom that he was going to get a gun, asked if I'm paranoid, said no, just want to be prepared, and got a CCW permit, absolutely was convinced that I was paranoid. And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about a little bit later in that warrior mindset of making that from just being a gun owner to deciding to carry or whatever. But that is so much of it. I think that the people, they think that gun owners are the evil militia. And I use militia because a lot of people use militia in a bad way. And there are militias out there that, let's be honest, could be a little different. But I think that they think that we're taking up arms. We've got this stockpile of arms and ammunition, and we're just ready to overthrow the government in this anarchist state anytime. We're just ready to go. And are there people out there? I mean, I'm not saying there aren't. I'm not going to sit there and say, no, none of us are like that. There are people that probably have that mindset, but that's the whole point is you can't take a snapshot of a group and say, this is it, this blanket saying, this is who we are. And I think that that's what happens in the media. I think that's what happens in society, because they think that if you're a gun owner, then you don't use it for hunting. You know, it's almost weird that, like, we joke about FUDs within the community, but it's like, if you're the hunter, even if you're not a gun person, but you know someone that goes and hunts, they get like a free pass. They get a free pass because they own firearms. They can go hunting. But if you say, I don't hunt, I just got to go to the range and I carry every day. Oh, why? Why would you need to carry? It's not that dangerous here. And I don't, you know, why I would hate to live my life, you know, waiting for something bad to happen. It's like, I live my life just normally. I don't wait for stuff to happen bad, but I'm there if they do, you know. So I think it's interesting that the media does play a huge role, Clover. You're absolutely right. But I think a lot of it comes down to really is the perception of, I don't think it's why we have them. I think people worry what we're going to do with them. And that fear of the unknown of, why do you need more than one? Why do you need this? You know, I think everyone in this panel right here people would freak out if they came in and looked at our safes and realized, oh, you mean you have more than a shotgun, or you have more than this lever action? You've got, why do you need all of these things for? Are you preparing for war? And it's like, are you kidding me? I mean, do you not just have fun shooting? But they don't understand that. And I think that that's kind of what for the new gunners coming in, like I said, I started out by the new gunners saying, do I want to just be the guy that has the pistol in the nightstand, or I've got the first gun, do I want to kind of get involved in this thing? I think that we need to kind of dispel some of who we are, perceptions and all that. Bring Snob in. What's up, Snob? From Oklahoma. He's an Okie from, well, he's not from Muskogee, but
no, a little north of Muskogee.
A little bit north, but he's off the Muskogee Turnpike, so we can do that.
Not really, but okay.
Well, it goes up that way. You know what I mean?
Will Rogers Turnpike. We're in the Will Rogers neighborhood.
Is that what it turns into up there?
Yeah, kind of. It does eventually. It will turn into that.
Yeah. So what's going on with you? Everything good?
Oh, yeah. Sorry I'm late. I was, doing nothing and being lazy and not getting on here in time.
No, it's all good. No, we were talking earlier, and we kind of let Toby and Clove go through it, but talking about maybe when we meet people, and like we're all of us are kind of surrounding ourselves around people that probably know that we're gun people. But if you meet someone that doesn't know you're a gun person, they find out. Do you ever get that? Are you paranoid, or what's wrong with you? Do you ever get that conversation started at all?
Not so much as a gun person, when they find out how many guns you own or all that, more so.
Right. And let me ask you, and this is open for Toby, Clover, anyone, is that seemingly what one of the first questions, or they don't understand why you need just one gun, or is that something that's a real thing? That, because I'm in Arkansas, and if you have one gun, you've probably got many guns, but it's not a big deal here. But I do hear that as like, oh, so why do you need mean, I got one for the nightstand, but why do you need more than one? And that's a tough discussion to get into because they've already kind of gone into that mindset of you don't need more than one. And it's hard to kind of talk them down from that belief. And it's like, well, do you do this? Do you do that? Do you do this? It's one of those, for me, it's always a tough discussion to have because they just don't seem to understand that, okay, having a shotgun or having a bedstand gun, you know, if you're going to get one, yeah, at least you have one. But, you know, more than times than not, most people, once they buy their first one, they're probably going to buy multiple guns. So, you know, Toby, when it comes down to explaining why multiple guns are needed, how do you have that conversation with someone?
So I know it's going to sound weird. I usually have the exact opposite conversation, and I have it a lot. I have it a lot, like almost every day. I have it. You and I actually just had a version of it before we even came into this live. Now I do have the conversations with people who say, well, why do you need them at all? And then why do you need more than one? And I do, like I mentioned, I do have a diverse crowd that I talk to, ranging anywhere from, you know, the urban corporate employees all the way down to rural and suburban, farmers, who grew up with them. So I get that full range of conversations. But believe it or not, the conversation I have more often than why do you have so many is why do you have so few? Because I'm actually a believer, and I know everybody in here is going to, and definitely anybody in the firearms industry who's making money off this is going to crucify me for this, but I am a firm believer of having, I won't own one unless it has a specific intent or a specific use, and if I don't use it. So I can literally count on, both my hands the number of pistols I have and rifles I have. Okay, that's just the truth. Sure. And I can count on one hand the number of calibers that I have, because I have narrowed it down to where I have a very minuscule amount of calibers for very specific reasons. So I actually often have the exact opposite conversation of why do you have so few? What is your logic behind that? Why do you not buy the Kimber? Why did you not buy those 12 guns just because they were on sale? So
clearly Toby's wife is standing right beside him with a shotgun pointed at him.
Yes. She only knows about the one safe.
Yeah. I've got the wheel with all how much they're really worth, so that when I die, she owns as many guns as I do, and she runs them. So I'm blessed there.
Clover's in the side chat going, he doesn't have that problem. No, he doesn't have that, and Snob doesn't have that problem. I've got a good amount of guns, but I'm not one of these that like has rooms full of them. Like they totally forget what they own and oh, I haven't seen that gun in years. I'm not that guy. I'm kind of like you. I would love to be that guy, but when I first started out, I try to keep to that mentality of every gun that I bought had a specific purpose, whether it was carry or it was training or it was something like that. And I'm not going to lie, there have been some stuff that I picked up just because I thought they were cool as hell now. But I still, even to this day, still try to keep similar. I have, a lot of 223, 5.56 and a lot of 9mm. Now I have other calibers, but the vast majority of my handguns are going to be 9mm, and the vast majority of the ARs are going to be either 9mm carbines or 223. And for that, it's a lot of different reasons. One, interchangeable magazines, interchangeable ammo for whatever. But yeah, I don't have the problem like Snob and Clover and Obnoxious One and some of these guys that have absorbent amount of tools, should I say. Clover, I'm going to bring you in and kind of ask you the same type of question is when you do have that conversation, is when people ask how many guns, do you shy away from that question, or are you honest and say, look, I've got a lot of guns, and then does that open up another discussion for you?
It usually does open up another discussion, and it gets completely away from the gun topic altogether. Because normally it's somewhere along the lines of, and how many cars does Jay Leno have exactly, and why does he need all of those? It's not about needing anything. And what does your stock portfolio look like? Do you only are you only invested in one company, or what, what's going on? And so it goes more into the collector investment side of things. And it's like, if you can pick something up for half of what it's worth, why would you not pick up something half of what you're worth? It's like if somebody offered you if somebody offered you $10 for a $5 bill, and all things being equal, and it was not, your $5 bill was not highly collectible or something, right? Face value only, current, whatever they call it, circulated money, I guess. Somebody offered you $10 for a $5 bill, would you not sell it to them? Well, of course you would. Same thing. I mean, I'm going to buy every one I can get my hands on that I can get my hands on for less than what they're worth. It just makes sense.
No, it makes total sense, but I like the fact that it kind of transitions to other conversations, because you start talking about want versus need versus all of that, and that does help sometimes humanizing who we are, what we do.
I have friends that's come over and we've went into the room or this, that, and the other, and they're, most times they're awestruck, but then, and they don't understand. So there's even gun people that you're validated in asking that question and bringing up that topic, because there's even gun people that will say, why do you have that many? Right. And once I get to showing them, they sort of understand the why. It requires some hands-on and showing, because it's like, well, check this model out. There was only 300 of these made, blah, blah, blah. And this was the first year they did so-and-so. Oh, and then after they did this company, and I could pull something else off the shelf, right? And so you go through them, and there's like this progression of a story almost, or a presentation that you can do, when you go through them all, and they get it. It's the same as people that collect anything, quite honestly. They can go through there, whether it's sports memorabilia or whatever, and kind of one piece leads to the other piece. And, I don't know, it broadens the collection as a whole, I guess.
Yeah. I think Toby Snub, is getting his ass chewed for, she just found out. The truth is out. She's chewing that ass off screen.
Totally. My wife's yelling at me about how much money I spent on guns. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to be sleeping on the couch tonight. Is it? Is one of y'all? Can I come? Buck, you said I could come out to your house and on the Greyhound. So maybe tonight.
We can get Pickle to get us a hammock. You can sleep out on the trees outside.
I ain't sleeping with a guy's Pickle. I'm just saying. Wait, can we say that on YouTube?
You just did.
I did.
You just did.
Where's the bleep button on the?
Yeah. And you bring up an interesting topic as well. Is what about the guy? And I'll say the guy. I'm not trying to, but the guy that may not have 4 or 5, but he's spending $2,000 on every single one. So he's only got 5 guns, but he's got $10,000 wrapped up in 5 guns. That one is another one that people look at and say, I mean, I get the fact that you want an AR or pistol, but why are you spending $2,000 for that handgun? That's a whole nother, we were talking about this before, Toby, I want to run my stuff. I'll drop it on the ground. I have no problem. I'm going to run my stuff. I would feel weird. This is just me. I would feel weird for spending $1,500 on a handgun, because I would like, okay, I'm just going to go put it on the wall and display, because I really don't want to drop it or run it. Then again, $1,500 to me is a lot different than someone else. Someone else, that $1,500 might be $150, and so they don't care. But there is that side of that, are going to spend an absorbent amount of money on their firearms, and maybe that also people at a gun shop goes, that's kind of weird. Why'd you spend $1,500 on a handgun? So there's all sorts of people that have different likes. Clover's talking about the collectability. I don't collect. I'm not into that game. I typically don't like older guns. I like them, but I like modern firearms. I like ARs. I like, you want to call them the polymer, hand pistols and all that. I like the Glock style and the MMPs and all of that. I like, guns that I can throw on the ground and get dirty and know they're going to run and not worry if they're going to get scratched. So that's just me. We're talking up here earlier, and someone, I can't remember, I'm sorry, I lost it. They collect calibers more than guns. Is that something you guys do, Snob? Or do you try to look at a gun and say, I'm missing something in that 45. I need to go find something in 45. So you have different calibers, or when you go buy guns, what is kind of your thought process?
Is it shiny?
There you go. I mean, hey, look what
No,
it is.
I mean, no, I am missing a 1006 or 1076 in my 3rd Gen Smith collection. So that's on my list. But other than that, no, I don't really. I look in there at like bolt action rifles and stuff and say, I haven't shot this one in 3 years. Why do I have it? But then I'm like, I ain't selling it.
Right.
One of these days I might shoot it again.
So
You never know when there's an elk in your backyard,
Well, I mean, in Oklahoma, well, I guess it could be. I mean, you never know. We didn't know that there was 200 tigers in Oklahoma until 2 months ago. So
True.
So, but like when you go to a gun shop, and you're just kind of browsing, what kind of catches your eye? Are you looking for, like I said, a caliber or a specific type of firearm first, or sometimes you just go and find a good deal?
Yeah, I'm more into like older guns, used guns, not even older, just better deals and stuff. And I'm not that interested in new striker fire guns, even though I just bought one last week, but I replaced my carry gun. But other than that, if I'm going in, normally I'm just looking at, something interesting that's just going to be fun to shoot and just have metal frames, hammer fired, something like that, handgun or something. Now, that's kind of what I'm into now.
Yeah. Clove, what about you? I know that you go to the gun shop and I guess you look more for deals, but is that what your primary focus, looking for a deal, or do you ever look caliber specific stuff?
No, it's usually I'm looking for that deal. I mean, it's kind of investment piece first. The story probably comes second. So, where does it fit into the overall collection? What's the story behind it, and the production and the company and the history and the provenance and all that stuff? And as far as, oh man, I just got to have that, that's very low on my list of reasons that I buy stuff.
Yeah. And we kind of talked about it in pre-chat, Toby, but you and I kind of have similar aspects, but kind of tell people your mindset when you're shopping.
Mindset is, I hate to use the nut and fancy term, but it's that fit for purpose. What is my intent? What is my purpose? What is my use case for owning this particular firearm? If it doesn't fit, then I don't want it. And calibers, I can literally name the calibers: 12 gauge, 308, 9mm, 22 long. That's it. If it 223, 5.56. If it's not basically a NATO accepted round or a common round, I don't want it. I don't own it. I have one 308. And that's just because it was an accident and it's still here. And, I use it as a bug gun. But my intent when I walk in, now don't get me wrong, I'll never pass up a good deal if I buy something for half the value, but I usually flip it.
Sure.
And both you guys are absolutely positively correct. You talk about diversifying your portfolio. What kind of stock do you have? The poor man's savings account of buying firearms, as well as I do, that in the years to come, this is the cheapest a firearm's going to ever get, period, right now. You will not buy guns in your lifetime any cheaper than you can right now. So they're only going to go either up in value or retain value for the most part. So, but my first criterion is, do I have the purpose for it? How does it fit into what my use cases are for it? Second criterion is the caliber. And then, after that will be the price. Then I will try to get something. I'll go shopping and find either a better price or find it used or whatever. I never do impulse buys when it comes to firearms, ever.
I'm not gonna lie, I've had a couple. I mean, I think we've all kind of been in the gun shop and like,
long ago, yes, long ago. If we're talking younger me versus now, yeah, okay, maybe. But
who is this guy?
Yeah.
I will say that when I go into a gun shop, I'm looking probably for a specific gun, honestly. I want to see they go have this and all of that, and I'm probably more caliber first off the bat than I am anything else. Say, okay, I want to get another subcompact, or I want to get another training pistol, or I want to get another AR, but I want to get it this time in 9mm instead of 223, or I want to get whatever. So I'll go in and I'll have in my mind what I want, but sometimes you'll go in there and say, okay, I want to look at that SIG P320. And then they've got that SIG, but then right next to it, they might have like the HK VP9 that's kind of, you're like, oh man, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Or, you know what? He goes, oh, I see in the back shelf, you've got a new AR pistol back there. So I came in for a handgun, and it's like, but that's a hell of a deal on that AR pistol. So I'm usually kind of looking for calibers at first, but I'm always going to look around and see what's a good deal. And if that's something that is a good deal that might not be there that long, I might have to jump on that because it's on that list of my mind of eventually I want to get down this checklist. And I guess one of those things where whatever I can find first for the best deal might just get off that list. There was a thing up there that I want to bring up that Warsaw says a lot of people also don't know why people own guns because most of them only hear bad things and they might have a fear of them. I think that fear, honestly, if I had, and I don't know this, but the conversations that I've had, fear is a big thing. The question will say, aren't you scared? Doesn't that scare you having that many guns around the house and they're safely locked up? Know how to use them. I'm not walking around strapped with the AR, clearing my house out there with a loaded AR. I mean, but maybe the ignorance combined with that fear, but I think fear is a big one when it comes to the general public as to why not only do we own guns, but why do seemingly we need to own that many of them? It's just that fear of guns because they've been told, once again, going back to what Clover and everyone's saying, the media has made it out that these are weapons of evil and danger instead of tools. And I think that has something to do with it. Clover's right. Safely locked up is maybe a figure of speech, but let's start with Clover on that. And what part do you think does fear play into the misconceptions of who we are and what kind of person we are because we own guns? Does it change people's thoughts of who we actually are as people because we own guns?
I don't think it does. It doesn't seem to with me.
Okay.
But you've got people that are, and I would say I'm pretty hardcore when it comes to firearms and that sort of stuff. But yet, I could go out and we can have a conversation about all types of things and topics in the world too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that some people can't get off of. I've got a buddy that's kind of that way. And I think we all know somebody that's this way, that they got a one-track mind and they can't ever talk about anything else or carry on a discussion. And even if you change the subject, they somehow bring it back around to that, whatever it is that they want to talk about all the time. And so I'm not that way when it comes to firearms. When I'm out and about and around and talking to other people, I mean, the firearm conversation, it may come up, be a fleeting thing, or there may be a reference or something like that. But, if we get off on some other kind of topic, I mean, I typically take that, run with it, and I don't even think twice. I'm not so focused on the firearm thing. That's all I'm going to talk about, 24/7, 365.
Yeah, to touch on this real quick, I'll come back to Snub and to Toby with a different question. But if you guys have a Scorpion Evo, jump in as well. Had a Scorpion Evo very briefly, really, really liked it. Had an opportunity to trade and got a Glock and a Beretta CX4 Storm in a trade for the Scorpion. Part of me maybe wishes I didn't do that because I do love the Beretta. It's a great little 9mm carbine as well. I did really like the Scorpion, but there was just something about it, and maybe I just didn't spend enough time with it. There was something about it that it didn't click with me. I don't know what. I don't really know what it was. It was one of those things where I had an opportunity to trade, and if I really loved it, I would have said I'm good. But I went ahead and did that, and there was just something about the Scorpion that, I don't know, it was just, for me, it was a little off, but it is phenomenal. I love it. I kind of wish I had it back. Toby, Snob, Clover, have you guys had any experience with the Scorpion Evo?
That's why I don't get rid of nothing. I don't ever have that regret.
Well,
that's what I was fixing to say. I'm past the point of trading guns or selling guns, and at this point in my life, it may change at some point, but right now I have no interest in getting rid of anything, even if it sits in the safe and never gets shot.
Yes,
because I've regretted selling many guns in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. It has.
Oddly enough, that's my wife's opinion. So I know I just gave the dissertation about how I won't buy something unless it has a specific purpose. Of course, we've all had those impulse buys in years past or whatever. She won't let me sell anything. She says, well, there could come a day, or what if your son wants it, or what if you're, what if. She won't let me sell jack. I have to, instead of telling her what they're worth and kind of having to write that in the will, I have to kind of sneak around and sell guns. Like, I don't want that one anymore. So,
It's a good woman, Toby. It's a good woman.
She is an amazing woman, and she's not even around to hear me right now.
Right next.
She does. So she has an identical twin sister, believe it or not.
Is she single?
Yes.
Okay. Send her my number. Tell Mystic.
Will do. Yeah, she cooks, she works, she's in the medical field. She won't let me sell guns. She goes out and shoots with me. She helps me with construction around the house, including, she'll dig holes and stuff. She's a rare breed. She helps my grandmother in the garden. She married me. Maybe she's mentally challenged. I think that's probably what it is.
I mean, just saying. Sarge brings up a great point. We curb that fear every day by us being good, responsible gunners. To some people, each of us are the only gun guy they know, and that is true. In my area, definitely the vast majority of the people around where I live are gunners, and that might be probably true for everyone in here. But it is true. There might be someone that we know, like on Facebook or something, a friend of a friend that doesn't live where we live, or a cousin or someone that doesn't have any people or friends that they know they're gunners. And here's the thing, you bring up go ahead.
I was just going to add to that point real quick and like where I live, everybody's a gun owner, but at the same time, just because they're a gun owner doesn't mean they're really into guns at all. So right. You may be the only person that's into guns that they know. They may have a shotgun or a rifle or whatever, just for whatever reason, or even a pistol for defense, but you're the one that's into it and knows something about it.
Yeah, and that's exactly kind of where I was going, is the whole part of being responsible gun owners is the average person that has already questioned why we have a gun at all doesn't care that we're responsible. At that point, they've already judged us. And that's the hardest part, I think, is the conversation of why I need a gun is easier to me than trying to prove that the responsible gun owner, they don't care. I don't think at that point, I think they've already kind of put the blinders on and said, I don't like him because he owns guns. They don't even get a chance to realize that being a responsible gun owner is very, very important. And I was on a phone conversation today with some people from the VA, and they're psychiatrists. They're in the mental health and suicide prevention side of the VA. And we were on a call, and she says, I get asked all the time, about veterans and suicide, that the most people use suicide are with firearms and this, that, and the other, why these people even have guns. And she even has problems explaining to people that, just because you hear these statistics out there doesn't mean it's not a true representation of 99% of the community. But most of the people don't understand about the responsible gun owner. And I will say this, the people that do care and are gun people, not just gun owners, but gun people, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but everyone that I don't say everyone, but the vast majority, almost everyone that I know that are true gun people are the safest people to be around, because to be a gun person, you have to take that responsibility seriously. Do you guys have any problems discussing the responsible side of gun ownership, or once again, have people already judged you and moved on? I'll start with Toby on that question.
Yeah, so a couple points. So number one is I do tend to end up being the nebulous of those conversations for everybody around me, the full range. So since I'm so approachable and I try to be, a chatty Cathy at all times, I get the full range. I get the people who don't feel comfortable with guns, don't feel comfortable with that, culture or whatever, and they find me approachable. And so I just magnet people in who start asking questions, and I get that opportunity to share that information. But in the gun community, since I'm a concealed carry instructor and a firearms instructor, I get the full gamut. And unfortunately, I see the underbelly of the gun ownership community of the people who are not safe. I won't mention names, but I had somebody muzzle sweeping the crap out of me this weekend, and it was a lifetime gun owner, used to hunt the whole 9 yards, just muzzle sweep, muzzle sweep, muzzle sweep, muzzle sweep while he was talking to me, and I was just like, oh, I'm going to tackle you, bro. I'm going to take you off this porch, head first. So unfortunately, no, I actually get a lot of negative conversations with gun owners because, no offense, Clover, but you've got that FUD versus tactical. Sorry, Clover. Love you, brother. But you've got that people who just think they know, but they really don't. It's the Dunning-Kruger effect. They think they know more than they actually do. And once they start taking training and start actually learning, or start talking to me, or start whatever. Yeah, hang on. So once they start talking to me, then you end up getting yeah, darn right. She's walking by and it's off, camera's off. She's walking by in the state that everybody on YouTube would enjoy seeing. So
turn on.
Right, yeah. So I actually get a lot of those negative conversations, believe it or not, with gun owners because they think they know everything, or they're telling their wife everything, and then I have to break some of those myths and start educating and explaining. And those are very often tougher than the ones who are the people who think that we're crazy nuts and militias and so on and so forth.
Yeah. I'm going to bring Snob in on this, and Rod out there said a lot of, I'm going to hide Snob while I ask this question behind this banner. So yeah, a lot of anti-gun crowd will never change view. And I want to ask you this, are we wasting valuable time trying to change a lot of these people? Do you think that we could be putting our efforts and time into other things than changing minds, or is it, what do you think?
Well, my opinion on changing minds is there's only one way to change people's minds, and that's just through actions and how they see you and perceive you. And if they perceive you as a normal guy that's into race cars or boats or whatever, and just happens to also be into guns, that's how you win people over, is just realizing first that you're a normal, everyday human being, not what the media portrays, gun owners to be. And then, you win them over to the, well, they're not all that way.
Exactly.
And then, it's a little piece at a time, I think.
Clover, what do you think are, when it comes down to changing people's minds is, and I think that we all would like to change minds, but they're like Snob said, there's different ways of changing minds. What's your thought on what's the best way to maximize our time and our effort to change minds?
Sometimes you change minds simply by walking the walk and not worrying so much about talking the talk. Mm-hmm. It's like I said earlier, I've got, I don't know. I'm not the end all be all, obviously, but I mean, compared to the vast majority of people, in my area that I may encounter or whatever, my knowledge of firearms is leaps and bounds greater. Right. But, I don't run around talking about that, touting that. It's Toby brought something up earlier, which was the attitude, I've got this attitude. I'm friendly. I'm approachable. And then it's like, you have how many guns and you're certified to do what? And you're this and that and the other. And, that's become secondary to I'm a good guy and I listen and I'm helpful and I'm friendly. And so it doesn't really matter at that point. So, yeah, it's all about that. I think the persona and the attitude comes first. And if all of that is in line, you've got a good attitude and you're a friendly, outgoing person and stuff like that, then the rest of it's secondary. Now, on the subject of, a lot of the old school guys, guys that grew up hunting, all of this other stuff. Yeah, I'll vouch for that, man. I can't tell you the number of people that I know, lifelong hunters that own, all types of guns and everything else. And they're, as far as running their finger into the trigger guard anytime they pick one up and muzzle sweeping people and not checking that it's clear, even if I just checked it and handed it to you, that's just, I don't know. That's something that obviously I didn't get from my grandfather and father and stuff like that. But, that's just something that is it's a 4-H thing. I mean, if I check it before I hand it to you, which I should do, you should still check it even after I've handed it to you to verify for yourself. I've verified it before I handed it off, but it's your job to verify it once you receive it. So, It's just one of those things. So yeah, all that I see that all the time, and it irks me. And to the point of, kind of what we were hitting on earlier with, it's a combination of what I'm talking about with the people that are all vocal and that's all they focus on is firearms, and then the wrong people being the representatives for the community. I can think of one guy, bless his heart, that sticks out in my head. And he is the know-it-all, and it is book smart because he literally owns like a SDV9 and or whatever at a High Point, but he is the know-it-all when it comes to specs and prices and everything else, right? No, I'm not talking about you, Snob. And this guy, literally, I mean, he's known around town. I mean, he'll have that conversation. He'll push firearms into the conversations wherever. And this guy is known around town for leaving his carry gun in more bathrooms than I can even count at this point, and having to go down to the police station and pick him up. It's ridiculous. And yes, he does have a license to carry, but he'll go to the bathroom and leave his pistol in there, and he's done it at least a half a dozen times.
I just want to know why you threw the why you threw the High Point in with the piece of junk SDV.
Who chose those two?
Well, I owned it,
and that thing was junk.
I'm just telling you. Well, here's this guy actually custom modified his. So he took a Dremel tool to the slide, and he actually drilled through the grip panels and the magazine. So and did all that so he could.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
He put little rivets in, little grommets and rivets in, and he spent all kinds of time in his workshop pimping out.
He bedazzled it. He bedazzled it.
He did. It was crazy.
Like a great guy. Hook me up with him. I mean, we might have a lot in common.
Oh, yeah, I hope not.
We get along great.
I hope not.
Does he have a High Point with the sight mounted on the side of it?
You bring the High Point out. That's a game changer right there.
See, all my guns have a specific purpose too, Toby. One of them is to put a sight on the side of.
All right.
One of them's a boat anchor, and one of them is.
Well, sometimes they're just to say because I can.
Well, yeah. I mean, I own two High Points. I got one's a collectible. It's a Yeet Cannon Gen 1. I had to buy that because it's a collectible, and the other one's a side sight one. So
did you get it signed too? Did they sign it for you?
I should have taken it to SHOT Show and see if they'd autograph it for me while I was there, but I didn't think about it. Darn the luck.
Missed opportunity, bro.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
The other one's a collectible in its own right. Just saying. Yeah.
And to what Clover and you guys are even saying. You know, I see that more than anything. I've been to gun shops where the shop owner is a 50, 60-year-old guy who will he'll pull the gun out of the cabinet, never check it, finger in the trigger guard as he hands it to you, pointed at you. Yep. Like, nah, I don't need anything here.
Yep.
I mean, just something about it. And you're a gun shop owner. Come on.
Same guy that's telling the women, you got to buy a revolver because it's easy. And okay. Yep.
And so you buy this little Airweight 357 revolver. This is what you need.
It's what you need.
And they're going to hate guns for the rest of their lives because you put them in 357 and they're like, what the? Yeah, exactly. Gary does make a good point. He says people are just assume things about gunners that we all carry ARs on the streets in full camo. It kind of goes back to what maybe Toby or someone was saying earlier when they show the person at the rally. And it's the guy that's cammied up in the face, got full kit out, got the AR for a gun rally. Not saying that's a bad thing, but is that the visual that we really need? And so there are those guys. And there was a guy up in Missouri last year that went up into Walmart, slinging an AR, and it's like, hey, I'm open carrying. And yeah, just because you can do something doesn't always make it better for the rest of us. And so that's just something that I think we have to be mindful is kind of finishing all of this. I had no idea it's already been almost an hour. It feels like it's been 20 minutes, but anyways, kind of wrapping this portion of it up is the whole idea of perceptions. And part of our responsibility as being responsible gunners is, like everyone else had their own way. Sometimes we have to just do it by actions, being a safe gunner in ourselves. Sometimes it's mostly just to, not flaunt that we have guns. However, you want to make sure that people know that you're a gunner, but you're a responsible gunner is on you. But I think the responsibility is something that most of us take very, very seriously. But there are a lot of people that don't, especially if they're newer gun owners. I get it. When you buy that first AR, man, you want to keep that AR in the truck the whole time and let people see it and put it in the house window. And I got an AR, and that's kind of a weird one, but I have seen that before. But it's just one of those things you have to keep in mind. We want to try to break down the misconceptions of who we are, and this kind of transitions us into that warrior mindset. Is so you've gone from buying your first gun, and now you've mentally taken that step to say, you know what, I want to be part of this community, and I don't know if I want to carry every day yet, but I want to be part of this community. I don't want this to be just a bedside gun. I want to get more. I want to get more involved in this culture and this lifestyle. Obviously, training comes into play, but that warrior mindset is you putting yourself in that mindset of, okay, I'm going from the casual gun owner to being part of this culture and community. And I want to start with Toby. With your training, and you see people come in, I'm sure that people are new gun owners to veteran gun owners. What is it like when you've got that new gunner that has made that mental decision? Are they looking forward to just, I want you to train me the minimum enough so I can be dangerous, or are a lot of them coming in there and saying, look, I want to take this to the whole new level? I'm sure you probably have both.
And you can tell. It becomes glaringly obvious within just a few minutes of exactly which one you're dealing with, and it is a joy to teach the latter, to teach the ones who are hungry for the knowledge and actually want to learn and actually take it very, very seriously. And within a few minutes, they're the ones asking the succinct and direct questions, the good logical questions. They're driving conversations and asking secondary questions. They're taking notes for, either mental or on their phone or whatever of, what other stuff do I need to do? What's the criteria for picking a gun? Those kinds of things. You can tell pretty quickly.
JMA out there was talking about what does an operator look like, and that's something that is an interesting thing, because it's actually one of the things that I hear people all the time saying. Most gun people have that look. They have that look. They've got the face. They see their goatee or the beard, and that's true. A lot of us do. But everyone was like, you can tell that guy by just how they look. And some of the deadliest people in this world that I know are the most unassuming people that will stay in a corner, be really, really quiet. But isn't it typically the quiet ones that are the scariest? They're the ones that I'm scared of. I'm not scared of a lot of people, but I'll be scared of the guy that is the most unassuming, that just kind of, before you know it, they're involved. And you're like, whoa, I would have never guessed that dude right there. So yeah, there is that misconception of what we look like, what gun people look like. And it goes back into getting kitted up, going to the grocery store and got the AR sling over the shoulder. That doesn't help. But I think a lot of it comes down to what you were saying is what are they wanting out of it? And you can tell right away, is this someone that just wants to be John Wick? Or is this someone who's serious about learning? Clover, I'm going to bring you in and kind of ask you the same thing, is when you're talking with people and you're working with people, are you able to tell right away if this is a casual gun owner or if this is someone who actually is involved in the culture?
Yeah, you can tell pretty quickly. It doesn't take long, because they're usually, they're not up to speed on lingo. They're certainly not up to speed. People that are very, very ingrained in it, obviously, is going to be up to speed on at least somewhat with laws and regulations and, current political events and things like that. So yeah, they'll tell on themselves usually pretty quick if they're not.
Yeah, it's interesting. You go to the range, I'll be at the range and I'll pull up, and let's say there's someone at the pistol range, and it's one of those that I'll pull up and I always kind of check, hey, wonder what they got over there, and a lot of times we have a lot of older guys here. They're going to shoot revolvers and all of that, and it's cool. Some of them have really awesome revolvers that I love shooting. But you walk up and you see, okay, what kind of gun do they have? And automatically I figure they're that guy.
Now,
and I've been
what?
wrong.
One quick thing: the easier thing to tell than by what kind of gun they have is what kind of holster they have on.
That's true too.
And how many scratches or wear and tear they have on what's laying on the counter. So in other words, even if they've got if they've got a Kimber or if they've got a high point, but that high point's got draw marks where it's been drawn in and out of the holster 5,000 times, that boy knows how to run his high point, even with the sights on the side. I'm just saying.
Yeah, so it was interesting. This is last summer, maybe early fall, like September, October-ish, somewhere in there. I was out at the range. It was right after it started. It was just balls hot. So it was starting to cool down a little bit. I was like, okay, I can get to the range and not sweat my ass off. So I got to the range, pulled up, old pickup truck there, guy probably in his 60s. He's got his nice 6-inch revolver and his leather holster snob. And he's shooting it from a rest at paper 5 yards away. I'm thinking, that guy, okay. So it's okay. He's not going to like what I'm getting ready to do because I'm going to be moving a lot and doing different stuff, but hopefully it doesn't bother him. So I kind of had this preconceived notion of who this guy was. And I said, hey, how you doing? Want to be down here. Hope it don't bother you. If I bother you, please let me know. Blah, 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 blah. He goes, yeah, do what you got to do. And so I started doing some stuff, and he kind of stops his shooting. He's watching, and he's like, he saw my holster. And the holster was a Marine Corps holster, and he goes, "Oh, you're a Marine?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And he goes, "I was a Marine back in Nam." No, coming to find out that this is one of the baddest dudes like I've probably ever met in my life. But I had that preconceived notion is this is that old dude that's got his $2,000 revolver, shooting it from a rest at 7 yards and going to take, 10 shots and he's going to leave. And I'd come to find out by talking to the dude that this dude was legit. And this guy saw a lot of stuff and he was out there relieving stress. And for him, taking that revolver out, shooting on a stand was a stress reliever for him. So I had preconceived notions of who this guy was for sure. Let's see here. This is funny. 223 DMR says, I have a friend who got a CCW with a high point. The instructor called him Captain High Point. That's pretty funny. The fact that he took a CCW class with a high point is kind of awesome. I actually kind of respect that. I mean,
I had one student take one of my concealed carry classes with a high point 9 one time. Unfortunately, it was not a positive experience, but it was not a positive experience because he didn't know how to properly take care of it, and so it wasn't lubed correctly, and so he ended up having a lot of jam problems and things. If he'd had it cleaned and lubed, it had been just like everybody else's. I mean, you're talking 50 shots is basically what's required for North Carolina, 31 actually, but.
Yeah. It's interesting in Arkansas to just get your regular concealed carry license. They just have to prove that you're proficient. And so we're a shall issue state. So a lot of what comes down to it is they'll put, I see this all the time. They'll put like a paper plate on a target, whatever capacity your magazine is, doesn't matter. They'll put like 5 shots in that gun. And if you hit that plate with all 5 shots from, let's say 5 yards, you're good to go, which is fine. Now to get your enhanced, it's the 50-round course of fire that's got different yardages, different things you have to do from your holster, different things. So it actually is kind of a test, which is kind of fun. We had, for my enhanced, a guy was taking his enhanced, but while he was there, his wife was getting her just normal concealed carry and literally had bought, I want to say it was like an LCR. The night before it came out to take her concealed carry class, the next day had not only never shot the gun, never even handled it. And you want to talk about a scary situation. Like there were people that were like leaving the range. We're like, dude, no, she passed. And that's what gets me is some of these, no offense, but there are instructors out there. And I know that you're a shall carry, a shall issue state and here in Arkansas. But at what point does an instructor sit there and say, you know what? I don't want my signature being on anything that the state's going to look at and said, I thought you were proficient. Please go get some help. I'm not saying go get some paid for training, but go get some practice in before I feel comfortable. Clovers, Toby, have you guys ever had that situation?
Yes. So in North Carolina, I mentioned 31 shots. It's actually 30 shots at 3, 5, and 7 yards. But the reason I vaguely remember the numbers because I don't do that. I force them to shoot at least 50 and I change up the course of fire. I require them, Sarge can testify to this for North Carolina. I require them to do a few different styles of drills to show proficiency of handling, not just, do I know how to load it and put the paper on the targets and get the 5 in the plate. Yes, North Carolina requires 30 and I think it's 21 out of 30 have to be within X amount or whatever. But again, I don't do that. I do more. But more importantly is in North Carolina, if you sign that certificate of completion of class, you are then potentially vicariously liable for that student. You're saying, yeah, they were proficient. So you're putting your signature on it. You could be called to court to testify and so on and so forth. So yes, there have been several situations. Fortunately, I've been very blessed to not have to fail anyone. But there have been, there was, I can no names, of course, but there was one kid from New York who just knew everything, and he was muzzle sweeping, and his line was, but I know it's unloaded. I told you it was unloaded. Okay, and I had, and I had been at the range with him a few times, and I told him flat out when he went to take my concealed carry classes, listen, brother, you're going to do more than everybody else in the class. I want to be abundantly clear. If you muzzle sweep me one time, you fail. I don't care if you know it's unloaded. I've been shot at. I literally have been shot at by an unloaded gun. A 44 Magnum revolver, unloaded, missed me by mere inches to my right side. It was unloaded. And the guy was showing me how to draw, and pull the trigger as you're drawing. So yeah, in North Carolina, you are potentially vicariously liable for some of the level of instruction you give. And so I absolutely make a big deal about my classes. Yep. There you go. C4, you got it.
Yeah. And he's in Carolina as well. Yep. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things where I've never seen an instructor send someone home. I've seen multiple times that they should have, or at least said, you know what, hey, I'm going to get everyone else out here done, and then I'll stay with you and have that person last. So everyone else is done. They can leave. If we need to take 6 hours, we're going to get you out of here today and you're going to pass. But I've got to be prepared to make you understand that you're going to pass under a certain, spectrum of this. Now, I want to say that was the guy's name Rob from New York? Because just saying Rob's out in the chat, I can definitely.
I wasn't going to call him out. But now that you mention it, I'm just saying it's a New York thing. It's Yankees. Right. Yankees.
I hear you. They're talking about the high point. Okay, gotcha. There's about the high points and all that. Look, people, if you've been around my channel and around chats that I've been on for any time at all, when it comes to high point, we'll dog on high point just because it's fun to dog on high point. But I'm a proponent of high point. I think that for what they are, for $150, if that's what you can afford and that can help save your life, yes. Are they ugly? Yes. Are they heavy? Yes. Do they run? Yes. High points run. So, I'll dog on them just because they're fun to dog on. But I would, if someone sit there and says, look, I've got $150 and I'm in fear for mine or my family's life.
Yep.
And I need something. Is this thing worth it? Yeah, it is. Now, do I say in the next couple of months, save your money and go get another one? Sure. But if you've got to have something right now, and the only thing you can afford is a high point, and you want to know if it'll protect you, the answer is absolutely it will.
Yep.
It is what it is. So yeah,
outdoor.
I mean, but man, those are pretty.
I mean, it's stainless. It's shiny. So what can I say?
If you like glue guns, then by all means, worth it. Clover, have you ever had to send someone home from the range for acting a fool?
Yep. With kids? Yep.
Well, I mean, anyone, but yeah, I would imagine that with kids especially. But,
I've never had it.
Or, did they?
I've never had to do anything with. I mean, I've never had to eject adults because I haven't dealt with adults. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I've had to eject kids, and I've had to kind of get cross with parents because they want to have that mentality, like a lot of them do. That, oh, my kid does no wrong, or you can't get on to my kid or whatever. And this is my range. See ya. So yeah, I've had to send a few home, and you don't get repeat offenders typically, because they do want to be out there and they do want to be with the other kids and they do want to be having fun and all this other stuff. So you call them out, you do that, and you don't do it. I've never done it in a way that was, you publicly admonish them and that sort of stuff. But the people on the range and the other kids knew what was going on. They knew they were being unsafe or whatever the case may be. And they knew when you take that kid, you pull them to the side, you pull their parents over and they leave, 1 + 1 = 2. They know what went on. So, you've got that going on and everything. And so, like I said, I've had that happen a couple of times over the years. It's not like it happens every week or every year or anything like that. But there's a couple of times, 2 or 3 times maybe that's happened. And, it depends. I mean, the safety thing, I could remember a time. It just kind of depends on what's going on. But we got some new rifles. And the trigger pull 2-stage, but I mean the second stage was something like 10 ounces or something on the second stage, right? And so this kid, I mean, great kid, had no problem out of this kid, so forth and so on. And they were all alive. They were doing his thing. He had completed the basic. We had a curriculum through each discipline that had to be done. And he had already completed the curriculum, I think, on like all the disciplines or whatever. But it was one of these situations where it's a rifle, he wasn't familiar, and this, that, and the other. And he had loaded and went to adjust something and he was kneeling and went to adjust something. And so he shifted. And when he did, his finger was still in the trigger guard. He didn't unload before he came off target and moved his stuff and discharged. And it literally was about 3 inches in front of his foot. And so he freaks out. And this kid is, country kid. I'm guessing probably 13 years old, 14 years old, and crying like a little baby when that happened. I mean, scared him that bad and scared everybody else. And so, that was a situation I didn't eject him because
it's a lesson.
Yeah, I mean, that was a problem and that could have been bad, but at least the muzzle direction, at least he had some type of muzzle direction going on. You know what I mean? So just pulled him to the side. First of all, calmed him down, said, hey, accidents happen, everybody's okay. That's the most important thing. What do we do? What is our process? Unload, and yep. Unload that. Once you get into position and you load and you've got to move, unload, move, set up again, and then load it and do what you've got to do. So, but yeah, that was an area situation, one of those almost, and I'm sure, there's really been no significant, no fatalities certainly, and hasn't been any significant, live fire related, accidents ever in the history of 4-H, not that's recorded anyway. Right. And, that was one of them situations that was certainly close. And I'm sure they're probably over the years. I mean, it's been around 100 years. The program has, I'm sure there's been a lot of close, right? But, thankfully it ended okay.
Well, that's kind of why there's 4 safety rules, not 1 safety rule.
Now, don't get Clover started. He thinks there's only 3.
There's 3. There ain't 4.
Okay. 3, whatever. Here we go.
Get him started. So we got the chief gearhead who's grateful for his presence about 10 minutes before we get off. But thanks for coming on. What's up, bud?
You was just looking to make a dramatic entrance.
You did.
You look tired, Jeff.
Accomplished.
Yeah, you do look tired. Everything good?
He just crawled out of bed, apparently. He's not even awake yet.
No, I've had more than my fill of all of the lockdowns, and
I
I
couldn't tell
have
that by your Facebook posts.
I think officially started my crusade to uh, shed light on this to the rest of the world via Facebook. So it's wearing on me.
You're doing a hell of a job. You are mission accomplished. Before we
I-
move on, I want to bring something up real quick, and this is something that JMA out there, and I want to tell you how much respect I have for this guy. Last week, obviously, we had an awesome conversation. He was involved with that. And last week, he realized that maybe his meds weren't regulated the right way. He needed to get some stuff done. Gets a hold of Genevieve over at Hold My Guns and let them hold his guns for him until his medication was regulated. Got his medication regulated. He said earlier that he's picking up his guns Friday back to his possession. And I want to say this. There's something about that the ultimate respect, because the fact that you were man enough to know that something wasn't right about you, and you had the forethought to maybe I'm not right now. And to do that was unbelievable. So kudos to you, JMA. I'm proud of you. I'm glad you're feeling better. And sometimes it's just, it does. It's on the medication sometimes the wrong chemical. Sometimes it's the wrong cocktail or whatever. But kudos to you. And like you said, you've got a lot of friends here that if you ever need anything, I hope you know that you've got a lot of people out here. But just the fact that you stood up and said something ain't right and did something about it, I applaud that. So that's awesome. Just want to kind of give that out there real quick. And he made all this public, so it's not like it's not like I was letting someone in to know the secret. This was all public. But congratulations, Jay, man. Glad you're feeling better more than anything else, and looking forward to getting your guns back to you Friday. That's really, really cool. Jeff, what we've been talking about tonight is basically the misconception of gun people. It's kind of going from, how do we get the new gun owner that might have just bought their first gun, and it might be a nightstand gun. How do we get them converted to saying, I just don't want to be just a gun owner, but I want to now take that next step and get involved and be part of the culture, part of the community, because sometimes they have fears or misconception of who we are as gun owners. So if you have anything that you would like to add on that subject, feel free to do it.
I have found that offering cookies helps.
Probably could, yeah. What kind of cookies?
Well, it depends on what the people want. That's the key, is you got to know your audience, right?
Well, here's the thing. So do you walk around with an assortment of Girl Scout cookies in your Humvee, or do you say, hey, I've only got chocolate chip or sugar. If you're wanting something else, you're just shit out of luck.
He uses the van. He's got the rape van for that. So
we're talking about anti-gun people and people on the left. I mean, I'm telling you, what works best is keto pancakes. I'm just saying.
There's something to be said about that, probably. That sounds nasty to me, but yeah, sure.
Agreed.
So cookies is a good thing, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a very transparent attempt to stall so I could think and give you a real answer. And I haven't really come up with a good answer yet. So I'm going to keep stalling. I think that something that we see in a lot of the gun groups is the gun troll. And I think not being that person, not shaming everyone who asks any kind of question whatsoever is a good first step to kind of bringing people into the community and helping them feel comfortable with doing what we've seen a lot of here on this show lately. Admitting where you have challenges and where you can use some support, and not being afraid to reach out to people and admit that maybe you don't even know what you don't know. So I think as a gun community, if we want to be productive at working with these new people and kind of bringing them in, we need to be welcoming. We need to be sure we're not shunning them and mocking them and turning them away, and that kind of thing.
Shaming them on their purchases, absolutely, and I see that all the time. Oh, why'd you get that gun? It's a piece of shit gun. Or
exactly, y'all quit shaming me about my dang high points.
I own several of them.
There are two caveats to what we're talking about.
And my Altor.
High point and Jennings. Those two, it's fair game. Just saying.
Well, if you get a Jimenez, then you've actually opened yourself up to being ridiculed. Just saying. Those things are
or a Glock 44.
So, Clover,
wait, did I just say that?
Shots across the bow.
Yeah.
Clover, you want to respond to that?
I'm not. We'll talk about that Friday.
Yeah, you will.
Oh, do I ever have some information concerning the Glock 44? It's not really related to the Glock 44, but kind of, sort of. But yeah, everybody, that's a good plug for this week at Gear Report on Friday. So if you want to hear that story, you'll have to jump on.
You want to hear this story? Trust me, you want to hear this story.
Yeah, because I'm actually contemplating buying a 44, so I may actually join in for this one.
There you go.
Oh, the wife just said I ain't buying shit, so. Damn.
Well,
I should have said it quieter. Let me type. Hang on.
Why would you buy shit to begin with? So, I'm being challenged out there saying that I'm a caliber snob, a caliber shaming on 40. I do shame on 40. Most of it because I get shamed for being a 9mm fan all the time. So, but no, I do shame on 40. I think that 40 is the most, how do I put this without sounding too cruel? Well, I'll just say it. I think it's the most worthless caliber out there. It doesn't really know what it is. It doesn't know where it wants to fit in. It doesn't want. So if you're a 40 lover out there, I'm sorry. No, I think 40's fine if it's what you like and all that. Everything's fine. I just don't like 40. I've never been impressed with 40. Now, D23 out there says, Toby, just buy it and ask for forgiveness later. Now, this is probably a month or so ago. I think it was a snob will remember. I think it was over on Midnight's chat. We actually did a bracket, which I thought was fun as hell. But there was a bracket for the top 16 excuses as to buying firearms that we could use on our wives. Like as far as, I'll buy this forever. What are you talking about? Or I got this for T&E, or I won it in a raffle. And I don't remember what one, but we did like 16. We did a bracket style of the best excuses is when you bring home a new firearm to tell the wife. And that was fun.
My wife didn't realize I was such a big time YouTuber until I started getting all these quote unquote free guns sent to me.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. I haven't paid for a gun in years, honey.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's see.
Always
here.
use cash at the gun shop if they have access to your bank account, though. I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
Then they know how much stuff costs.
No, as far as caliber shaming, I think that's something I think that most of us in the gun community just do in jest. Now, there are people that legitimately hate calibers, but I think a lot of it comes down to it's just in jest because there are 9mm guys, there are 45 guys, there are 40 guys. Ultimately, shoot what you shoot what you want to shoot, and all that. But it's kind of like the military thing. I'm gonna ride Jeff for being a flyboy and a chair force commando, but no one else is allowed. If you weren't in, no one else is allowed to make fun of Jeff. Making fun of Jeff right now is easy. Just look at that. Look at that beautiful face.
Okay, so we can't make fun of Jeff, or we can't make fun of Jeff for being a flyboy, because that's two totally different things. And
exactly.
And the first one is not fair at all.
That's correct.
It's the second one.
His look tonight. He just had it. It's like he needs to go to the nail salon and get a pedicure or something. Oh wait, he can't. He's in North Carolina.
Not yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We opened up to
They've-
freedom or yesterday in
They've
Arkansas.
cut off the supply of happy endings. So I've noticed a trend, and I have an issue with shaving. If I shave every day, I get ingrown hairs, and it becomes a problem. So I have to go 2-3 days between shaving. Anytime I hop on, the camera makes me look twice as homeless as I actually am. 1.5 times. So, I've just come to accept that if I don't shave, and Trey will tell you, I have been known to sit down and in the green room before going live, I've got the razor out and I'm like, oh shit, I look homeless. Let me get, I don't realize it till I sit down and I see myself on camera and I'm like, oh man. But
now, today it has nothing to do with the beard. It looks like someone just kicked your puppy. You just have that look as if like life is just really sucking today. That's the way you.
I have said for I don't even know how long, probably 4 or 5 years. Like, you know what? It is really time to start drinking. And at some point,
Did
I'm
you
going to
just
have
start
to do
today?
it. I should start
This is
today.
what his hangover looks like. It's basically what he's saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
basically the past several years, if TJ's not around, I'm sober. So that's the easy way to tell. You can see I'm in the home studio. TJ's in Florida. I'm sober.
Being around TJ in general, you almost feel like you're drunk even if you're not. I mean, it's just that it's there. You know that it's going to happen. No, TJ's great, but I remember we were at. Yep. Hey, Toby. Before you bounce, real quick, we're going to close it up here in a minute. Let people know. Plug your stuff real quick before you go.
Guru-report.com. Author Toby and all the other guys that are all them other guys, whatever, those guys. And Mining Ridge Armory, one word.com has links to all my media. So, yep, check me out and apologize. I got to jump off again. Thanks for the invite. Appreciate you guys letting me hang out with you bunch of convicts, but that was awesome. Thanks.
That's just that guy.
Just wait,
Guy.
that guy right there looks very, very homeless and gray and sketchy for sure. Captain Quirk definitely looks sketchy.
Regardless.
Yep, I'm shaving in the morning. Cutting my hair too. People think that I do like the buzz cut.
You cut that, it might not grow back. I'm just saying.
People think I do the buzz cut to hide the male pattern baldness. I don't care about that at all. None. But I cut it short like the razor with no guard to get rid of the gray. And that's about, I shave.
Why?
Yeah, I know. I shave to get to make it itch less, because I don't know why I can't deal with a beard. It itches, and to limit the amount of gray showing. And that's it,
dude. I think that you missed a golden opportunity to do something very, very special, and I'm a little disappointed that you didn't. With what's going on here, you had an opportunity to grow a mullet out through this whole time. That would have been the greatest look ever. Is you in a mullet? Why didn't that happen? I just want to know. I think that would have been the greatest look ever. Is you in a mullet?
Why do I have to grow it? I have one of my kids is into cosplay, and she's got a bunch of wigs. And I mean, honestly, I have a couple wigs, so yeah, I can still rock the mullet look. We had a thing back when I was teaching martial arts.
The mullet look, does that imply that you used to have a mullet?
Not really a mullet like me personally, but I have rocked a mullet wig before. When I was teaching martial arts, we did a big Halloween thing every year, and a friend of mine, we would try to outdo each other on what we did. And one year I dressed up kind of like Slash from Guns N' Roses, but did the mullet. I referred to myself as Smash. It was always referred to in the third person. Smash likes that, Yeah, and I rocked the mullet.
I have an
And
important question.
Yeah.
Is there any of these pictures available anywhere online?
Oh yeah, they're out there. I own them. I don't hide from stuff I've done. You ask that like you're going to use it against me. I'll send them to you.
I just wanted to see it.
Can't you tell he has no shame in his game?
I mean, look at the guy, really.
There's no shame in his game. Holy hell. So you guys are still in lockdown in Carolina, huh?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, we opened up we opened up barber shops and stuff like that last week. So I go down to the barber shop and there's a big sign, appointments only. Please call for appointment. And I was like, oh, that sucks. Because they don't take walk-ins right now. You have to schedule an appointment. So I call her. I'm outside the window looking at her cut someone's hair on the phone. And she goes, hey. And I said, can I get an appointment for like 10 minutes from now? And she goes, I can get you an appointment on the 19th. I'm like, I'm sorry? She goes, 2:00 on the 19th. I'm like, holy shit. She's like,
you look shady.
Well, she knows me and I am shady.
Yeah.
We had to like, she had someone cancel. So I got in. You can't tell, but I did. My wife want me to grow the hair out. This is the longest my hair's ever been. And it's fucking killing me nuts. But yeah, you had to do an appointment right now. And she's about 2 weeks out on appointments. And then yesterday we opened up restaurants. We opened up restaurants to a 33% capacity. So they can only have 33% of their whatever their fire marshal capacity is. So
That's
not
as bad as North Carolina, but it still sucks.
Yeah,
it does. Yeah,
we're going to phase 2 Friday.
Oh, so what's phase 2 in Oklahoma?
I don't know. Phase 2 though, they're adding capacity. They're opening bars and I think tattoos shops and all that stuff's opening on phase 2. Because we've had 3 weeks since our barber shops and nail salons and stuff have been open. This Friday will be 3 weeks.
Wow. It'll be 2 weeks for this Friday will be the second week. So yeah.
Yeah. Because they opened up our nail salons and barber shops and hair salons and stuff a week before they opened restaurants.
Yeah, they opened up, same with us, but ours started last week. So, and our restaurants got opened up yesterday. So we're about a week behind you guys. Now Clover cuts his own hair as well. But he doesn't have a whole hell of a lot of hair to start with. I mean, he doesn't let it grow long is what I mean is he keeps it pretty short. So but I heard that you had a little mishap with the clippers or the clippers broke or something.
This happened. I think all this had done started. I think so. Just by feeling of my hair and the length it is right now. My hair on my head has never really grown that fast. That's what I commented out there, that I've never had a mullet. I can't get it to grow in the back. You know what I'm saying? To get a mullet, unfortunately, I've never been able to grow long hair like whatever, back in the day in high school, everybody kind of had long hair and all that. I never could do it. So not that I didn't want a mullet or try to grow a mullet. I just never could. But yeah, I mean, all of this had started and I did a haircut and everything and I dropped them on the floor and that was it. I dropped them and they never would turn on after that. So yeah, I got to have clippers, unfortunately. Now I do got like a little set, like the beard and mustache, trimmers, but I don't know.
Manscaping shears.
I don't think. I guess kind of. It's just a smaller set.
I don't need that shit right now. I don't. Okay, so who else been watching TV like a lot lately, right? Have you seen the commercial where the girl say, "Hey guys, do you need to shave your balls?" And she straight up comes out and says it on the commercial. I'm like, what? The first time I was like, did she just say that? But apparently you can say balls now when you come about shaving your balls. And there's a new razor that's sensitive to the balls or something. I was like, I looked around. I was like, did anyone else just hear that? Or is it just me?
Is that a thing now or something?
Apparently it is. Maybe I'm the only one that's seen this commercial. Maybe it's in my mind, but
so I'm a trendsetter. Who knew?
You shave your balls, huh?
Well, it's all those pictures you keep texting. Eventually that gets out, Jeff.
Good Lord, where is this chat gone? Since Jeff got here.
Winning right here. Yep.
Holy hell.
You watch. I'm going to be flooded with T&E requests for ball shavers now. I'm going to be swimming in ball shavers, and you guys are going to be hitting me up like, hey, are you going to use those?
I can promise you that I won't be hitting you, especially if you've already used it. Just saying.
Don't want to pour gas on it.
Can I get your used ball shaver? Oh man! Wow, this has gone down some weird roles already.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so Gizzard Gary. See, I'm not crazy. Gizzard Gary. He said he's seen the commercial. It's called Manscape. So there you go. But yeah, she figures, hey guys, do you need to shave your balls? I'm like, holy hell! Like what the? That was like the first words of the commercial. Like, what the hell is going on here?
Those are YouTube ads, but yet our videos aren't suitable for all advertisers.
Yeah, you can put that on a gun video because that's the only thing that people want to see it on is a gun video. Hey guys, want to shave your balls? You know, like, yeah. My gun video isn't suitable, but that one, let's go put that one on. Yeah, it's
You're not wrong, Midnight.
Let's see. Nighthawk says, "Why are gun owners different?" Well, because we talk about shit like this. Yes, you're right.
It took an hour and a half, but we finally answered the question.
We finally answered the question because we can talk about manscaping. Sarge says Snob is a big proponent of manscaping, and okay.
Here, I'll stand up and shit.
No, we're good. Holy hell! All right,
Jeff's eyes just got big. He got excited. I don't know.
Jeff, is he squinting? Oh well. All right. Let's get off this. Let's start kind of closing the doors here. Holy shit. Snob, you want to talk about your manscaping real quick? Go ahead.
No, I'm good.
Are you going to? Is that going to be your B channel?
Yeah, well, it already is. You didn't know that? I just can't tell you the name.
Snob, the Manscaped Snob.
It's escaping snob.
Oh my God, escaping snob. Is that the terminology they're using? Oh hell. He says, "Come to think of it, we've never seen Snob with a 5 o'clock shadow on his face." That is. Oh God! All right.
Remove that.
It immediately retracted. Yeah.
Yeah, I did not see. I saw it before it got removed. Apparently. Holy hell. You got a show coming up. You just This Old Gun episode 8 just came out. What was it about?
What was it? Colt Challenger.
By the way, awesome picture on Instagram. Was that last night? Love that picture on the stump.
Oh,
Sunset in the background. That fence post that was awesome. The colors. I'm sure they were enhanced. You know.
Yeah.
And you got the whole gun in the frame.
Barely.
Yeah.
It's tough.
That's an awesome picture. I like a lot of pictures you put on that fence post because it's.
I think I'm just gonna wood burn my name into it, so I don't have to add a watermark. Just have it in my fence post.
That'd actually be kind of cool. I mean, if you're gonna use the same fence post, you might as well. You know.
Well, I've got 3 I alternate between. So.
Well, how hard it could be to burn all 3 of them?
Yeah.
The same. Anyways, okay. You got a show coming up this week? Are you gonna do one?
Probably not. I don't know. I don't do live shows anymore. That's too much work.
Right.
So yeah. Go watch my This Old Gun video. There's going to be a SIG X Compact video coming out if it ever turns green. So, one of these days.
So, how so far with your experience with the self monetization screening thing? Has it been successful for you, or are you getting screwed?
I put 2 up since then. I haven't done a bunch of videos. I haven't been in the mood, and I've been busy.
Green?
They both went yellow as soon as I uploaded them, just like always.
Even though you went through the self certification thing?
And I had to wait on it. So,
yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Nothing new.
JMA says, I'm a member of all your channels and very much enjoy learning from them. Thank you so much. Hey, appreciate you, bro. Gizzard Gary's like the greatest hype man ever. I mean, he really is. He's like the greatest hype man in the history of hype man. So he's out there pimping my shit. Thanks, appreciate you. Jeff, what you got going? We got. Do we have? I hate to ask, but do we have a Humvee episode coming out tomorrow, or what's going on?
That's a good question. If I can stop arguing with people on Facebook long enough to edit a damn video, then I have a bunch of. I've got so much video sitting waiting to be edited. I have reviews I need to do. If I can just shut the. Am I allowed to speak openly on this show?
Yeah, you can.
No.
Yeah. Okay. If I can just shut fucking Facebook off for a week, my life would change. I wouldn't look homeless. My hair would grow back. I'd actually be good looking for once. And probably rich too. But I have been sucked in to fighting with scared people.
All right, so it just hit me who you remind me of in this state of Jeffisms right now. Who you remind me of, and you might know who he is because you're old enough to remember, but most people aren't there. Everyone out there, go Google Stephen Wright comedian and tell me that
awesome.
he is not Stephen Wright with a haircut, but the way that Stephen Wright had his whole act was, I can't believe I'm still alive all the time. I hate my life. That was him. And tell me that Stephen Wright. Jeff is Stephen Wright with long permed hair. Just saying.
Oh.
There he is. Tell me that's not Jeff.
I'm used to being compared to like a Tom Cruise or. I don't get Hasselhoff that much anymore, but that's the first one.
I got a flag around here. I got to fly somewhere.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know if I want to be a Hasselhoff at this point.
Yeah. Well, it'd be worth it just to be able to say, don't hassle the Hoff.
Well, that's true. You'd be huge in Germany, that's for sure. You'd be a pop star in Germany.
Who doesn't want to be a pop star in Germany?
Who doesn't want that?
So
anyway, yeah.
We might have yes, we will have Show Us Your Humvee episode, whatever it is, 18, I think, probably tomorrow.
And so is Monday's going to start be, Manscaped Mondays on GearReport.com? Or?
Yeah, Manscaped Mondays.
So you know what's funny is I'm sitting on a review that I can't figure out how to do it because it's underwear. So Tebow is the brand, and it's so the reason I got them is it's bamboo.
Trust me.
It's bamboo. The fabric is supposed to have some kind of antibacterial, microbial, whatever. I don't know. It breathes well. It doesn't develop funk. Great for camping and outdoor stuff. And then they show up, and the way they're cut, I'm like, dude, you won't believe. But let's just say
underoos. I'm not gonna lie, those are underoos, aren't they?
Was that G.I. Joe or was that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Not today. If I choose to wear underoos, I will rock the underoos. It's okay. I'm down with it. But they're like, I'm having trouble figuring out how to describe them. Let's just say it's like the big banana hammock in the front and not much else. And I'm like, they came in, I'm like, man, they're comfortable, but I can't take pictures of these. I mean, how do I review when I can't put any pictures of video? I don't know. I may just do it.
But you
do it, couldn't I?
And you should. You should take pictures of those. Own that shit, Jeffrey. Own that shit. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do anything.
That's why I come here for the heartfelt good advice from people who care about me.
I think the dollar store has those balloons you make balloon animals out of. If you need something before you take the picture, just saying.
Oh! Shots fired! Shots fired!
I don't understand.
I don't know. I don't know what Facebook's been trying to tell me lately, but I get a prosthetic device that you put down there that is literally apparently you can get it on Wish, and Facebook thinks I need that, I guess, because that's on my feed all the time.
Wow.
I think Joey used salami, did he not? In Friends, it fell off, but he did use salami. At
Silly putty, not so silly anymore.
Anymore.
All right, so let's focus real quick because you said you were trying to shut down shop here. It doesn't make sense that I point at you because that's where you are on my screen, but I'm pointing the wrong direction. I'm gonna point at the camera. How about I do that? Anyhow, tomorrow should be Show Us Your Humvee. Thursday, someone asked, I saw it go by, someone asked who's on Pickle's show tomorrow evening. That's the camping chat, hanging with Pickle.
Mike.
And Mike, I don't know. We'll see if Mike shows up. I don't know who's going to be there. I don't know if it's a surprise or if I just wasn't paying attention. It could be either one. Who knows?
I guess you were stoned, but that's just me.
No, I know that wasn't it. And we already discussed, I am committed to start like day drinking, night drinking, all of it. I just hadn't got around to it yet. I'm going to. I know I need to. I know I need to. One of these years it's going to happen.
You're in rare form, my friend. I love it.
Yeah.
Love
so that's Thursday at 7:00 on the Gear Report. It's on our YouTube. So yeah, all of our live broadcast stuff goes out through YouTube for now. I've got to figure out how to distribute that beyond. I know Clover is a professional media hoe, and I have to get him to teach me how to take what we put on YouTube and get it out everywhere.
Yeah, well, I can't do a show. I can't do a show on that.
You like on that shit.
Right, exactly. That's the one channel strike that I've actually got that's stuck ever in the history of all the firearms and everything else is cool.
Yes,
but I do a live show about here's how you do a podcast, and they channel strike it, and there's no way to reverse it. Imagine that.
Nighthawk had a good point for you, Jeff.
Would the Pickles Hammock show be perfect for the underwear? Well, yes and no. I like the train of thought. Okay, but see, Toby's not here to back me up on this. We should have had this discussion earlier. Get Pickle to model them tomorrow, Buck says. So this past SHOT Show, Pickle didn't make it there with us. But the year prior, we booked late. We were out of money. We ended up with 4 people in a 2-bedroom in a 2-bed hotel room, and Pickle and Toby were on air mattresses on the floor. And there was only one bathroom. And let me tell you, when you're packed in that tight for a whole week, you see more than you want to. And I'm telling you right now, I care too much to recommend that Pickle take the underwear as part of camping with Pickle. Hanging with Pickle. Yeah. So anyhow, you can see what he's doing, and if Mike shows up Thursday. I was about to say tomorrow. It's 2 nights from now. Tomorrow. No, Thursday. I promise I haven't been day drinking. Really. Thursday at 7. And then Friday at 8. And these are Eastern times because that's the only real time zone. Friday at 8 o'clock we have this week at Gear Report, which should be fantastic because we'll get to talk about all the stuff that Toby has been doing this week. So he checked out without really doing his little promo stuff, right? So he had his big how to mount a scope. It's the full, the full shooting match, the full enchilada. He's got, how to use all the various different tools and lap the, what are we doing?
I'm just watching you doing all this, so I thought I would,
Yeah, and like lap the scope rings. I've had a DNA test. It showed like 0% Italian, but I talk with my hands so much, it's got to be wrong.
There's no way that you don't have Italian in you. I'm just saying. There's no way.
Yeah. That sounds like a joke I used to tell the ladies. But anyhow, that's a different topic. So this week at Gear Report, we'll talk more about the stuff that Toby published. So his big guide, 42 minutes of everything you never, ever wanted to know about how to mount a scope. And then tomorrow, it is the Wheeler Ultra Scope Mount Kit review and video will both drop at 8:14 a.m. Eastern Time. And then on Friday at 8 something.
The fact
I don't
that
remember.
you know the minute is great.
It's
Why 8:14? Is it like is there a reason why 8:14?
Because he's been day drinking
really.
and he can come back and remember what time he told people, and he can drop it at that time now.
I generally look to not drop stuff on the hour because lazy people, that's what they do. Or like on the 15, the hour, the 30, the 15, those are the obvious ones. I don't want to compete with those people. I want to drop on odd numbers.
I mean, well done, sir.
8:14 is an even number. Hate to break it to you.
Ooh, 14 is an even number.
Yeah.
8:14.
Yeah. What would the right way to describe that be? Because it's not an odd number, even odd, but it's an unusual, not the normal times. I don't know. Snob, you were in charge of coming up with a better term to describe that. And let's see.
He's passing the buck on.
I've heard he's good at that.
Delegating. That's what that is.
TJ and Alan both told me that at a SHOT Show that he's real good at delegating.
Well, he's really good at giving me ride to range days.
Well, at least somebody is.
At least somebody is. I still want to see the damn donut footage of when G was in the middle of the desert doing donuts, filming on the GoPro for footage.
The absolute joy on his face.
20 minutes. He's like, oh, dude, you got to see this footage. He's just doing donuts. I'm like, what about give me a fucking ride, dude?
Yeah. So I want to see it just to see what it looks like. But what no one will see is the pure, exaltation, the joy that was flowing from him. He was exuberant about, oh, yeah, I've been driving in circles for the last hour and a half. And it's going to make a great video. And we're like, what? Day tricking.
Range day. Twice. Boy. This time it was twice he left me.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yep.
Gizzard Gary says, was this show worth a quarter? You get 4 of these a month? No. There is no way in hell this show is worth a quarter.
Yeah, don't count this one. Just count the 3 others.
Count the 3 others. Last week was great.
Last week was like
show.
You prepaid for 6 months last week.
Yeah. No, the discussion for the first hour and a half was great. And then Jeff showed up.
That's actually true.
You're welcome.
Yeah. No, thank you. Holy shit. Where are we? Clover?
I've been dragging out my little promo thing to tell everything for like 12 and a half minutes.
Yeah, well done.
I think I'm done. I'll let you know if I think anything else.
All right. Clove, before Jeff starts talking again, jump in here.
I'm going to hasten to the end and just say, if you don't already follow me, then I don't know what to tell you. And so, yeah, bye.
Who are might you? Be the shortest sentence that Clover Tax ever said. The dude loves to hear himself talk. I mean, the dude loves to hear himself. So for him to make that hasten and shorten it down, y'all just witnessed something special live on air.
Well, as long as Jeff just talked, he didn't have any time to he forgot what he was going to say, probably.
I mean, 8 hours he gave us is already out, True story, isn't it? Yeah. Good Lord. I'm not even going to upload this one on podcast. Or at least I'm going to cut out the last half hour.
That's a good part.
Actually, this actually might get more listens on podcasts than the first hour and a half. Oh, hell. For the 17 people that are still out there watching this shit show, thank you so much. I apologize and welcome back to the dark side. Unfortunately, this is a lot of stuff that goes on in the backstage where we just laugh at Jeff. Jeff, if you haven't been around Jeff is one of the funniest human beings you'll ever meet. And a lot of it's because he's so damn dry. You're a very funny man, but you're very, very dry.
How could you look at that face and not laugh?
I mean, exactly. It is. Hey, he's got
it's like my wife's here.
He's definitely got a face for radio, doesn't he?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get out of here. What did Jacob say? Well, he got in from installing a new steel swing in the yard.
Jeff's mind's already out of here.
No, I read the next comment. No, it's like, yeah. You put that one up. That one was good.
I would put that. That is a good one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Whose house are you in tonight? Is this the neighbor's? Is this the neighbor's house you snuck into?
Dude, I got to keep my voice down. Someone banging on the floor up there.
Well, that could be fun. I don't know. All right, we're out of here.
Favorite song.
We're gonna have a fun time in the after chat. I have a feeling, but no. Thanks everybody for watching. If you have any questions, leave them below in the comments below. If you're watching a replay in podcast, I apologize. Actually, you know what? I don't apologize. This is who we are. This is how we have fun. So, great first hour and a half actual discussion. And the last half hour is just who we are. So
we were just showing you why we're different in the last half hour.
We're definitely different, and now we know why. I'm trying to stab him in the head. All right, we're out of here. Peace. Good God.